All right. So yeah, if you want to go ahead. All right, so I'm not going to go through each one. You can read all those disciplines we have there. There should be 10, I believe, if I counted correctly. But these are all our disciplines, and are the ones we're going to go through this evening really quickly. I don't want to take too much of your time. But just to let you know that we have all these disciplines in our county that we take care of here. And all the instructors we have in these disciplines have to be certified by the state. And so each instructor has to take a weekend off of their time to be able to go to wherever we host instructor training and get certified. And additionally, these trainings cost a lot of money, and we appreciate the fact that county council contributes largely to the reimbursement for some of our training for this. So we deeply appreciate all the county council's help. We appreciate it very much. Okay, I'll start off. Go ahead, Ani. So first up is archery. Archery, we have a spin club that starts here in April. The sign up, I believe, will start on March 22nd, I believe. You have to be 8 to 18 years of age. These are all 4-H ages. At competitions, we'll shoot 20, 30, and 40 meters. However, at spin class, we're not going to shoot quite those distances, but that's what we would shoot at matches. We shoot big targets. We also shoot at 3D targets, like that lynx, or some might think it might be a bobcat down there in the lower right, perhaps, and also some field archery targets. We generally start in spin, have everybody start with a recurve bow, would be the bow you see there kind of on the left of the pictures there. We also have compound bows, and there's different categories, but we're not going to go into depth on that. Next.
Can you quickly explain what Spin Club is? Can any?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, SPIN stands for Special Interest Club, and it's so that we can get. It's for kids that can have in 4-H, but you do not have to be 4-H to be. You don't have to be enrolled in 4-H to get in it, because it's an introductory to 4-H, and we're hopeful that by getting into this Special Interest Club, the Spin Club, that you can that we will get you kind of hooked and engaged and join a club and join in 4-H. So anybody can join these special interest clubs through the paperwork through K-State Research Extension, Johnson County. We can get you a part-time kind of a entry into it, but it's a venue to get new kids interested into the 4-H program.
Thank you. And I did get a question on when it's going to start. I believe we said it's going to start in April, and it's on Sundays.
Correct. Yeah, I kind of promised Abby I'd try to keep it to 10 or 15 minutes, but yes, sign-ups in March 22nd and starts in April. We'll conclude before Memorial Weekend, but we're going to have five Sunday sessions. It'll be at Powder Creek Shooting Park, if anybody knows where that is, on Sunday afternoons. But that's all in the sign-up stuff too, so it's all there. If you want to check out Clover Clips for more information, or you can message me or email me via Clover Clips.
Thank you. I'll hold the questions if any more come in.
All right, next. BB gun. BB guns classes, they start in October. We've had spin classes in this before, but whether it is a spin club material or if it's just a safety class, that starts in October. The youth are 9 to 15 years old for the sport, for that discipline. However, if you're older than that, if you're 16, 17, 18 years of age, we can still get you into there to get you in there to get some experience on it. And or if you want to use that to go on to springboard to another discipline, which we're going to cover here in a moment. I have their introductory course because it's kind of basically a prerequisite, if you would, for advancing to other disciplines that we will have later on. And in this discipline, youth shoot 5 meters. They shoot in a prone, standing, sitting, and the kneeling position. And they use a special BB gun. It's not just your, Red Ryder BB gun that you might have got at Christmas time or for your birthday or something. That's a special certain Daisy model that they use for competition. And our program has a number of those that people can borrow for these beginning classes or spin classes, what have you. The targets are pretty small, and they're shown there down on the lower right. It's a very good introductory class, and this is what we again springboard into more advanced disciplines. Next. So air rifle, that's one of the things that we prefer to go through a BB gun year of completion of BB gun first. Air rifle season starts in October, 12 to 18 years of age. And since these are little advanced or little older kids, youth, shoot 10 meters and shoot in the prone, standing, and the kneeling position, what we refer to as 3P or 3 positions. And we use the program has a couple different rifles. One of them is shown there on the screen in the middle. These are a lot higher priced and more high tech kind of a rifle that we use. And it's very, very accurate and very precise and can shoot very well with it. But the targets are very small, like shown in the lower right-hand section there. But at 10 meters, and then especially in the standing position, this is a huge challenge, even to hit the ring sometimes for an introductory or first timer. So it is quite a challenge, but it's a very, very fun sport. Next. Small bore rifle. When I say a small bore, we're in this case we're referring to 22 rifles, or if you're familiar with caliber, 22 caliber is the caliber of the rifle of the cartridge we use for this. We like to have the youth go through air rifle completion, a year of that, or the season of it. Small bore rifle starts in summer. You'd like youth to be 12 to 18 years of age. We shoot 50 yards in the prone, standing, and kneeling. Again, that 3P, all those 3 positions. There's also a medal silhouettes match at the state match that shoots from 40 all the way out to 100 yards of these metal silhouettes, like we showed there next to, and kind of the bottom right there a little bit. And that's see chickens and pigs, turkeys and rams. If you can kind of make out the shape, they're kind of hard to tell a little bit, but that's what they represent. And then the paper targets there is in the lower right. And in this discipline, you can use scopes and slightly tricked out 22s a little bit, but most people use a hunting rifle or something is fine for this too. But some use more advanced or more high tech stuff in this as well. A very fun discipline. Next. Muzzleloader. I know that image up the top right is kind of cloudy and kind of got a lot of stuff going on there, but if anybody can recognize who that might be, here's a clue that somebody's on Zoom tonight. That picture is taken of them shooting, so just a hint. I'm not going to say who it is though, but we prefer people to go through again an air rifle completion. Muzzleloader starts in summer. Again, here again, the 12 to 18 years of age, shoot 25 and 50 yards in the standing position. There's also, again, metal silhouettes 40 out to 100 yards, but at the state match competition, we don't shoot quite that distance out for the state matches. And then off to the right, in the middle there, it shows the like a percussion cap muzzleloader that one might use for this, but you can use other types as well. The lower right shows a circle target that they shoot at. And then next to that, in the bottom is left of that, sorry, thank you very much for the green bottles. These aren't actual bottles, but they are just pictures of bottles. And there's different point values depending on where you hit on the bottle or hit on the neck of it. Then up above that circle target we'll refer to as a critter's target. And then one next to the one over, the paper target. And there's different, I know it's hard to see in there, but there's different point values depending where you hit them on that body for scoring. So there's a lot going on there. Muzzleloader is one of those things that's very involved. you've got to, even to load it, you got to, after you shoot it, you got to run a cleaning patch through the barrel from the muzzle. And so, you got to, there's a lot of safety involved here. You really got to know what you're doing. Cleaning patch through it, and then you're going to put your powder, patch, and a ball, and then you go up the line and put a primer cap on it, and then you're ready to shoot. And yeah, you get all this smoke coming off there. So there's a lot of stuff you got to take with you, a lot of stuff you got to do, and at the end of the day, each time there's a lot of cleaning to be done, because they foul up the gun a lot, all that smoke. So it takes a lot of work to do. It's a fun thing to do, but it takes a lot of time. Next. Air pistol. We've had a spin clubs for these for the last 2 or 3 years, I think 3 years maybe. They start in October. Again, come back to 12 to 18 years of age again. Shooting the 10 meters in a standing position. We also shoot metal silhouettes, but very tiny ones in this one, 10 to 18 yards. This is all an indoor sport. And the kind of the upper right is a paper target with those 4 bullseye targets on. That's what we shoot at the 10-meter distance. Down below that is the animals and the metal silhouettes. As far as the guns, in the top of the guns is a pistol, is an introductory pistol that we use for new shooters, and a lot of programs they just have that for their equipment. But you can use more advanced pistols or more higher priced or geeked out kind of pistols, I guess, if you would. Down below that is a scoped pistol that you can use for silhouette match. So you can use a little more high tech pistol for that, for the indoor silhouettes. A very, very fun program, all indoors. So it's all good. This is during the winter time into the early spring. Next. Small bore pistol. So again, the small bore, as in the 22 rifle or the 22 shells and the 22 caliber. We like to have you go through the session of air pistol, complete that first, and they can do this in the summertime. Again, 12 to 18 years of age. 25 yards in the standing position for these paper targets. You see down the lower right and kind of in the middle there a little bit. Also shooting metal silhouettes from 40 to 100 yards. However, at the state match, we only have range capability for 40 or 50 yards, so we don't shoot quite the distance. But in this, we have a little bit bigger targets in this one, because it's a little harder to shoot. You see somebody in the upper right. Some of you might know some of these people, and some of you younger ones might not know these. But some of these people have been around for a little bit and have done fairly well. Next slide. Shotgun. Starts in October, summer. It's in October. 12 to 18 years of age. We use 20 or 12 gauge shotguns. You can be a single barrel or semi-auto or breakover, break action. There's different things. As long as it's safe to use, you can use it. We shoot trap and skeet. And at the state match, there's even a sporting clays. Just for reference, for those who are not familiar with trap or skeet, the trap is in the kind of the middle there on the middle right. There's 5 positions you shoot, and there's a trap house out in front that shoots the clay pigeon out, and people take turns moving along from 1 to 5 to shoot those clay birds coming out of there. The one in the very lower right is actually a skeet field. And that's where there's 8 different positions in that. So you start there's a high and low trap house, and you start here at the high and you work your way around to the low, and you're shooting at singles or doubles coming across there. Those dotted paths show the flight path for the clay pigeon. And lastly, we go to in the middle there, position 8. I know it's kind of small there in the middle, it's hard to see, but that's where the clay pigeon's coming, screaming right over your head at seemingly point blank range. And it's very, very, very fun to shoot at. It's very humbling, because that shot is extremely difficult, but it's a very, very fun sport to shoot, and it's a lot of fun. In the upper right is a few years ago of some of our people that are in there. One of them went to nationals from our first time we had somebody in shotgun shooting sports from Johnson County go to nationals. Very proud of him. He did well. And some others are in there for a few years. This is a few years ago. So some of these people have gotten a little bit bigger since then. Some have graduated out. Next. Hunting skills. This is a discipline that we are currently not that active in. We've had a couple competitors move on to nationals in this. A couple of my boys did, and we're trying to kind of revamp this program a little bit. 8 to 18 years of age. We do wildlife ID or identification, hunting knowledge, and also compass and orienteering. And then, so the example in the image in the upper right there is people doing wildlife identification, might have skins and skulls and tracks and stuff. You have to identify what critter that is, be able to name that species of that animal. Now, an example of a compass. So we teach you how to do compass and orienteering. So we can give you a spot. So you learn how many yards or how many paces it takes to get to that yard. Or we might tell you, to go 80 paces or 80 yards to, on a compass bearing of 78 degrees or something. And so we teach you how to use the compass and how to make the steps to be able to do that, to orientate, to get to where you need to go. So very, 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 very fun. It's a lot of work, but we're trying to revamp this program in the county. The seniors age 14 to 18, actually some 13 years of age, can also do archery, small bore rifle, and also shotgun within this project to go to the state match in hopes of maybe going to nationals. And I'll talk about nationals maybe a little bit at the very end, but most are just, this is for beginners and so forth for right now, for tonight. Yeah, lastly, Western Heritage, 8 to 18 years of age. It's a living history of the frontier West from 1860 to about 1900. And the kind of the three aspects there at the bottom, the persona. Persona is you kind of taking and owning, kind of developing a person that from that history from 1860 to 1900. It you could just be a housewife, or you could just be a stable boy, or it could be any kind of thing, or a barkeep, or probably not that, but probably like think like a Western store or owner or something like that, or maybe a blacksmith or something like that. And you kind of own that, and you dress up as that person, and you make a persona, you make something that person does, and you be able to talk about what your persona would do at a match or at a conference. And a history, you learn about you take tests about the history of that era. And mainly for some of the older kids, but you can shoot period correct rifles, pistols, and shotguns. So not modern day, but not muzzleloader. They still had cartridges back in that time. So this wasn't too far in the distant past. But those are all out there. And kind of cool thing about this one, we got a national conference coming up. This is the first time Kansas has hosted the National 4-H Western Heritage Conference. And good grief, they're going to have it in Ellsworth. Look at that, in August 2nd through 5th. You think it'd be hot? Holy smokes, those kids are going to be roasting out there. But I hope they have a lot of water, a lot of shade for the kids out there. But that's a really big deal. Kudos to Kansas for landing that. So that's going to be awesome. And then next. So all those disciplines we have out there, again, that we covered here, I know we just breezed over them really, really quickly, but these are all things we offer here in Johnson County. And yeah, if you come join us for a spin, then you might just be interested in just learning about that project. And some of you might be, if you should do well enough and really coachable, etc., and into it, you might get into the match, portion of it. And if you get into the match portion of it, you might go to local and regional matches here around Eastern Kansas. And then if you do well enough, you can go to the state match. And if you do well, and if you're one of the older kids there, you do very well, you can get an invite to go to nationals. And we have a lot of kids that we sent from Johnson County to go to these national shooting sports matches. So we're a very robust program. We're super proud of them, and we really love really love them. And Johnson County is kind of a little bit of a powerhouse here lately in the state. So we're very proud of our kids. And lastly, the next slide. What I want you to do is to come join us. So look at all those smiling faces out there. So that's all I got. Abby, you can have it back.
I just want to say thank you for presenting.
You're welcome.
May I ask some questions that I got from the audience? So the first question is, if somebody has never touched a firearm or have no knowledge, which are some of the areas that they might start off in?
And my quick answer is any of them. We teach, safety is always all these disciplines. Safety is always our number one, and we'll teach you how to safely handle them. And you're not at these. We're not drill instructors or sergeants. Are these like a military or something like that, where we try to be very, very calm and collected and try to teach happy thoughts. But at the same time, you're only allowed to touch, for example, firearms only when we tell you you can, and we only if the line is, we'll call it hot, or if nobody's allowed downrange, so that from that. So nobody, even if that would happen to be loaded firearm, nobody could get shot. So we have, safety is huge. We want be safe first, and then also to have fun. So everybody, any of those could be fun. If you want to learn about firearms, I obviously would start with BB gun. That's a place I really would steer you for or towards. But archery and any of these could be introductory. We'll help anybody.
And when we do get questions at the extension office, we do generally guide towards archery and BB as kind of those introductory starters courses, if I could say. Is that accurate, Arn?
Yes, absolutely. If some of you, we've had people that have had some shotgun experience, and if we, and sometimes might let them in for that, but we really prefer you go through one of these other introductory ones first, so we kind of know where you're at and kind of and know, because we don't want to put too big of a firearm in your hand without knowing you so well yet. So it comes back to safety. We must everybody be safe.
Here is another question from a family. If they have not taken a class that is needed for another class, but have experience in it, can they still take that secondary class?
To that individual, I'd say ask you to contact us. You can contact myself, Lisa Smith, or Mike. You might be on this as well. And we have another coordinator that just came on. Reach out to us and let us know what you have in the past we have done. Some of our disciplines were a little more tighter on what we need you to do first, and so we really need to go step by step. Others, we have maybe a little bit of leniency, but in general, we really like to have you be a little more tighter and go step by step, because everything builds on each other. So if you just threw right into small bore rifle, for example, you wouldn't know the different shooting positions. We'd have to start from square one, and we just don't have time to do that. We have a short season, so we need to go right into it. So that's where the BB gun, the introduction really comes into play. We really like to have you go through that first. But contact us and we'll walk you through that.
Thank you, Arn. And one last question that we got was, when does shotgun start? So I just went back to the slide, and it does start sometime in the summer, and contact you or Lisa as coordinators. Correct. And you guys could guide them.
That shotgun usually starts in about May, but we'll let Lisa will can tell people more information about that.
Thank you. I think that is the end of the questions that I received. Are there any other questions? Thank you. I hope that this was informative. It definitely was helpful for me. And my personal question, for hunting skills, does a 4-H'er need to be in shooting sports, have previously participated in other shooting sports discipline to participate in hunting skills, or can it stand up on its own?
And it kind of depends a little bit on that one. For the juniors, absolutely no. You wouldn't have to have any other experience. And I'll say that with a kind of a caveat or asterisk beside that statement a little bit. We really prefer you to have some experience in some of the other things. But if you have an interest in that, go ahead and reach out to us, and then we'll see if we can work through that. Again, we prefer to have some knowledge. But when we go in to shoot, if you're a senior, to shoot archery, small bore rifle, and shotgun, that's where we start to run in a little more nuances. And so it just be a case by case basis.
All right, thank you. And I'm handing it back to Miss Abby.
Well, I would just say, come join us. It's really fun. You'll really enjoy it. That's all I have to say.